Former President Donald Trump told us that when he wins the upcoming election, he's going to invite us to the White House.
These two resellers are the reason why Trump made his first sneaker.
They weren't sure if we should auction it live right at the event. I said, trust me, I got this.
They not only convinced Trump to show up at SneakerCon, but also sold his first ever pair for
$9,000!
They're the most popular sneaker live auction sellers on the internet, with over 1.5 million followers across platforms, and they generated $6 million in revenue last year by selling items for ridiculously low prices.
Mitchell & Ness jerseys, $300. Take a guess what we sell them for on average.
How much?
$40 to $35.
However, none of this success was handed to them. From quitting six-figure 9-to-5 jobs to selling sneakers from their basement and almost losing their business to robbery, they eventually achieved financial freedom and met Trump in what many consider to be the worst business model in the world. In this video, I want to find out their story of building a $21 million reselling empire. Culture Kicks.
Oh, what's going on, man?
What up, brother?
Good to see you. How you doing?
Not bad, you?
The man, the myth, the legend.
Good to see you. Guys,
brother.
I gotta ask the big question. How much money do you guys make?
Oh, right out the gate. About 6 million top line.
6 million.
6 million top line.
All right, break down the business model for me.
We live auction thousands and thousands and thousands, a shit ton of units, and also sell online on our website, and also sell on our TikTok shop.
So what separates you guys from other resellers?
So a lot of people try and sell $20, $50, $100 over market. We actually go into every single sale knowing that we're gonna sell our product 70 to 90% off.
He's going home for free, guys. Bro,
And we know that we're gonna provide a lot of money and a lot of value for a lot of the resellers that are buying from us that are then going to go sell them Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Poshmark, all these other apps, again, in a way less volume.
So people are able to actually make money still at the prices that you guys are selling them at.
Correct.
And you guys can make your money.
Correct. Probably double, tripling, quadrupling their money while we're still seeing about 100% ROI.
100% ROI. Let's break down some of the numbers on some of these pairs.
So again, it's not the flashy 2020 Jordan 4s, Jordan 1s, Yeezys. You're looking at Air Maxes. You're looking at Adidas Azaleas, okay? You're looking at Air Forces. I got some Timberland boots. I got some Doc Martens. All these are actually already sold, about $37, give or take AOV, and we're spending about half that on all of the pairs.
Wow, can we break down a specific shoe? What are these right here?
Those are your fluffy, beautiful, brand new, without the box, Doc Martens.
And how much did you pay for these and how much are you selling them for?
Paid about $15, sold them for about $45.
So what's the margin on that? Not good at math.
$30-ish, but that's before fees, so we do have to pay some fees. We also have operations employees that have to ship them and the supplies that it costs to actually ship the product.
So net, what are you looking at?
Probably 15 to 20.
Walk me through why no Jordans? Aren't people still buying Jordans?
You know, Jordans are definitely still popular. They're not as popular as they were back in 2020 during the boom. So we had to adapt, right? We're getting, like Alex said, Adidas. We have some New Balance, Asics, things like that where we can just still make the same margin that we were making back in 2020, but just honestly, it's at a different cost point for us these days.
Yeah.
A lot of it's going to be way under retail, and we're still selling it under retail. So it's a win for the customer, it's a win for us.
Got it. And so are you buying all this stuff at once, or are you buying it individually from individual sellers?
Mostly all at once. Also, again, like we can get like just like random Vans brand new in the box for like $15. You know what I mean? Sell something like this, again, crazy. We filmed this like 2 years ago. We would not be
Be a
pulling
much
out the
different
Vans
story.
out of the box.
It would
Yeah.
be the Jordans, the Yeezys.
It'd be the Jordans, it'd be the Yeezys, it'd be
Yeah.
everything that everybody was looking for during that time. And again, don't get us wrong, we still source some of that product. It's just that, you know, even sitting on it right now is not worth it for us, right? Like the products like the Jordan 4s, the Jordan 1s, they're gonna be, you know, way too high for us to be putting our capital into. We'd rather invest the $10 to $20 into this, make back 30, 40, and keep it moving like that.
Simple math, literally the Lightning 4 you might pay 180, 200 on. I can get 18 of these for one Lightning 4. I'm gonna make 10 to 20 per. Do the math. What are you making on the $20, boys?
Yeah.
On the Lightning 4.
Yeah.
You can make 180 on 10 of these, or $20 on one Lightning 4.
How long have you two been working together?
2.5
Since
years.
2022, right?
Okay, and you said you met in Applebee's parking lot?
Yeah, so on Facebook, I remember, and I was looking to buy, right?
Yeah.
It was like a bulk pair of like Jordan 1 satins. And ever since then, you know, we did really good business together. I'm really looking to get Culture Kicks off the, you know, to get to the next level. And I really love for you to come on, join the team, and let's grow something crazy together.
It wasn't just one Applebee's parking lot meetup. We did probably $100,000 to $150,000 worth of transactions since that initial meeting. And then kind of he told me, I'm gonna leave my job. If you wanna leave yours, I'd be prepared to run this business with you.
So you mentioned quitting your job. Can you walk me through what that was like?
Yeah, it was definitely tough. I mean, when we told our parents that we were gonna leave the 401k and leave the 60 to 80k salary, this guy was pushing 6 figs over there with his salary. They're like,
You were making, wait,
to
I'm
sell
sorry.
sneakers.
You were making 6 figures at your corporate job.
Yep.
And you left that to sell $30 sneakers.
Idiot,
And-
right?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so I had a job, corporate job, working for a pharmaceutical company, and I was making a little over 6 figures a year. I had a brand new car that they gave me. They'd give me company gas. I'd have my lunches paid for, and there was just something about it, like my intuition telling me that I can do this sneaker business much better, even though I was making that money back then.
That's insane. How do you have the confidence to just leave behind that's a success story. You know what I
sure.
mean? You were a success story and you left it all behind.
I was working for that company for 2 years, and during that time, I used Culture Kicks as a side hustle, right? So I saw the beginning all the way to the company growing to where it was back then. And during that December, like I said about
Cool
the Cool
Gray.
Grays, making that leap of faith, making 30K in a month, and I was like, okay, if I can just put all my time and effort into this, sky's the limit.
So I was making like 60K working Foot Locker corporate for Foot Action. So I was actually running 98 nationwide stores for Foot Action, women's, sneakers, apparel, everything like that, and just running transfers and allocations. And then actually when I was going to leave, I went to another sneaker store for like 6 months, ran their entire operation, scaled it from 0 to over 7 figures. That's when I met him. I was leaving, got an offer from San Francisco for a 3-year deal to go run a very large company's social media page. And the catch was, even though it was gonna be 180K salary, I had to live in the place they were paying for rent for 3 years. And if I ever quit, I had to pay back every month's worth of rent. So I'd have to sign a 3-year contract. Again, similar to what Chase just said, it felt like in my heart, like basically all the runway that we had with Culture Kicks and where we could bring it, it's like, I can always go back to something like that a couple years down the road. So this is actually kind of our front door, right? That everyone walks in and leaves. This is where the product leaves the quote unquote hybrid warehouse office space garage door. Our van backs up all the way to this. Both these doors shoot open, and then Katie and MK right here, who are packing some of the orders that are going out, just literally leave out the store. Can we get a shout out or no? How's it going?
Going good.
How many orders you packing today?
600.
600 orders today.
600 orders.
All today.
So that was just our Sunday show. So tonight we'll probably sell another 300-400. Katie manages all the ops to make sure they get to the end customer, customer support, returns, all that nonsense.
Very impressive. All right, well, let's not bother them too
Yep.
much. Let's keep it pushing.
And then you have Mr. Hung Young, the captain of Michigan lacrosse, in here, his office.
Big Michigan fan. I went to University of Michigan. Played lacrosse there, so I put a lot of my old memorabilia on the walls. This actually right here was the first ever sneaker that I purchased. I think Varsity 85s, and they were listed 23,000 pairs. So
That
I
picture
keep that
though,
picture.
Chase and I literally had in our like North or South Philadelphia condo basement where we started and built Culture Kicks with like 200, maybe it was like 50 to 200 shoes total. We were looking at that and we would post story sales on our Instagram in front of that thing. So that's like that's a trophy piece right there.
For sure.
So what is it about live auction specifically? Why do you guys sell in there versus just StockX or Go?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do it all, right? So we do have some products that we will sell on StockX if it makes sense. When it comes to products that we think we can sit on for a little bit longer, if we want to liquidate it or sell it as soon as possible, we'll sell it on live auction. But for the customer standpoint, it makes 100% more like sense to actually shop on live auctions because you can get it at a great price, a steal of a price compared to the actual market of StockX.
So is most of your guys' advantage, you think, on the buying side? You're able to just get stuff for ridiculously cheap.
I would say, I don't know if a lot of you guys watch some of the SneakerCon coin flips that we do
Yeah.
on our social media.
Low
page.
ball king.
Little Ball King.
Fucking flip that thing, bro. Heads!
During that time, like right, where every time we're going to those conventions, we're buying stuff for dirt cheap. we're actually selling it that same day or the next day on our live auctions, or we're even flipping it for wholesale. So a lot of the stuff that you see here and the stuff that's in the back of our inventory room has just come from relationships that we've made from the retail stores and other vendors that we have.
How big of a role do you think the social media has played in your business expansion?
Pretty massively, honestly. I mean, we have almost 1 million followers on TikTok, over 300,000 on Instagram, and we just hit 250K on YouTube. And just, I would say, when it comes to going to sneaker events, you see all those people in real life, and like the amount of people that are willing to sell to us because they just want to be on camera, they want to, be in the content. It's crazy. Like, we've had lines in Australia, 500 people.
Yeah, I think it does play a big role, just to add on to that, with like the minnow sellers, people that come to the shows. But if you're talking like whale buyers and clientele, like, we're able to definitely source a lot of higher volume with the leverage that our social media provides, such as like if you're reaching out to a brand that needs to liquidate and you have almost 2 million followers on all platforms and they have like 40K, they're like, all right, well, it does seem like these guys have their shit together, even though it really has nothing to do with the back end 6 million rev that we're selling behind the coin flip magician.
Yeah, so do you guys think a normal reseller could do what you guys do without the social media followers?
You could do it without the social media, but the question is, can you do it? That's why I kind of gas, because the thing with live auctions and the thing with anything that you're selling high volume is there's a million potential fires that can occur at all times. Sometimes it is nicer to just, make $50 on like 40 to 50 units, but like if you're making the $5 to $12 per unit and you're doing it 1,000 times every 3 days, there's a lot of room for error, things that like don't deliver or things that are wrong. So you definitely have to have the right infrastructure in place and the people that you trust to have enough responsibility to deal with whatever those issues are. I don't think like social media, is essential, right? But if you want to source higher level, it's good to definitely have some sort of presence to put some respect behind your brand name. Dude, he literally I don't know if you know, people literally wait an hour and a half in line and just want an autograph.
It's been wild, man.
Somebody drove 4 hours from Chihuahua, Mexico, across the border just to meet Chase and sell him a pair. I'm not kidding.
So, you guys run a pretty impressive content machine.
Right.
How many people is on the team?
So right now we have a 3-person team. We have the editor, Jason, that you guys just met, Jordan, who does all of our film. And then we actually have someone who's remote, who's also helping our TikTok shop, our YouTube shorts, all that type of stuff.
It's got to be pretty expensive,
We've been investing a lot of money into it. For the past 2 years, we've been doing content now and really turning the gas on starting in November of last year. So we really invested a lot of money, over 6 figures for sure.
Does it make money?
Finally, the content does now make us money. Obviously, we have brand deals and affiliate marketing deals that make us some good chunk of change, and then we get paid from our TikTok and YouTube ads, and a little bit of Instagram.
Are you able to share the numbers, ballpark?
Ballpark on TikTok, it's roughly a little over 5 figures a month.
Wow.
Affiliate marketing program deals, Alex will usually land a couple of those a month, around 5 to 10K as well. And then YouTube shorts and YouTube long form is what we're really striving to take us to the next level.
Cool. Why are you so confident that content is worth investing 6 figures every year into?
If you invest, literally pour the gasoline on the fire, millions, we're seeing 200 million engaged accounts monthly, right now, monthly. 200 million. Now you put Chase's face next to anything that we want to sell. Okay, they've already had association with him 3 to 4 times. Usually on the 5th time they buy something. So you look at Nelk, Happy Dad, Logan Paul, Prime, The Rock, his tequila, right? The list goes on. We have a lot of plans in addition to our sneaker line. That is sort of the thing that you invest for the long term. Obviously you got to be able to swim and tread water long enough to make it to the long term. But if you can, we have that business behind the scenes that we're going to get into right now in the live auctions room. That helps pay for all the investment that we make and hopefully on the back end see that return.
Earlier this year, I was at a sneaker con, and for some reason there was secret service and security, and I was going through all these loops just to get into the event. I'd never seen anything like it. And then I get in there, and midway through the event, I see you on the stage with who were you with?
Donald Trump. Yeah.
Can you guys tell that story? That was crazy.
It was definitely a crazy experience, the whole thing, through and through. It first started off at SneakerCon in January. We went down to Fort Lauderdale, and I was just doing my thing, buy, sell, and trading. We had the camera up and running. To the right of me, I was getting a deal done, and to the right of me were 2 guys just super fascinated in what I was doing. and I could just kind of see them in the corner of my eye. And I didn't really think much of it, but they sat there for like 30 minutes watching me just get deal after deal done. And Franco, our CFO, ended up talking with them, and they said, hey, we have this very exclusive person who wants to do something in the sneaker industry, and we'd love like 30 minutes of your time. We'd even pay you for your time. Would you be willing to speak with us after, we were done the SneakerCon event? So the next day, we met up with those two people, and they dropped to us that President Donald Trump was looking to make his own sneaker, get into the sneaker industry. So they wanted to know about my expertise, my understanding of the market, how they should launch a product like that, how many, amounts of pairs they should drop, when they should drop it, all these different things, right? We were speaking with them for probably 3 months until the actual release. And that's when they told us that Donald Trump would be at SneakerCon. He wants to release it at SneakerCon.
We got to pick the city. And we said, well, since we consulted you on the entire sneaker line, let's do it in our home city in Philadelphia. Like, all right, let's do it.
And we got a couple pairs of shoes actually that we ended up auctioning.
First ever pair we auctioned for $9,000.
$9,000!
2 minutes later, they were going for $5,000 to $20,000 on eBay. So they actually were worried that we wouldn't be able to sell it for 4 figures. They weren't sure if we should auction it live right at the event. I said, trust me, I got this. And I didn't think it was going over like 2,000-3,000. I knew I had somebody that probably wanted it around 2,500. It goes for 9K live. Crazy.
That was to
Shark,
right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So handed it to him right there at the event. And then we went backstage, met former President Donald Trump, and told us that when he wins the upcoming election, he's gonna invite us to the White House. There's a lot of things moving around in here at all times, so. And you got this guy. He's actually one of the longest standing culture employees and definitely the highest selling culture employee that's ever existed.
Sorry.
I present to you Mr. Dylan Waterman.
You want to introduce
folks?
yourself? What you do over here?
Yeah, I'm Dylan Waterman. I'm Chief Sales Officer, as I mentioned before. So, head of sales, managing different wholesale partners we have. Mainly though, gonna be selling product on Whatnot and live auctioning.
So how many hours will you stream and sell product at a time?
Nowadays, probably like 2 to 3. It used to be like 4 to 5 a day though, 4 to 5 hours a day.
Yeah,
Back in the early
can you
days.
take one of these shoes and pretend like you're selling it? I want to see what it looks like.
Here we go.
You want to sell it to the camera?
Yeah.
Fuck Timberlands, guys. Look at this. We got Nike ACG collab boot right here. What do we got? A little 6.5Y. Come on, get this for little Johnny and Jimmy here. You're gonna be giving us at least 100 come December. Why not like 35 now when it's warm out? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. You do the countdown.
Come on! Wow. And again.
For 5 hours sometimes.
That's insane.
Like on Sunday, we went for 5 hours. He was streaming, but I was robotically, stickering things. You feel like you're.
And you can still talk. Your voice isn't gone.
I lost it the next day. We lose it sometimes. But it's good returns. If you did the math, you remember what I told you we were paying on it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Wow.
It's also just like you're not gonna get someone to take all this in bulk every single day. So a lot of it's just sitting here.
I will say this.
To be moved.
Nobody that has ever come through Culture Kicks or been maybe a second man on a streaming team, literally even on Whatnot, has sold and been able to withstood enough of streaming as this man right here. Literally, I have seen the beginning of Whatnot to where it is today, and it is something that is extremely grueling, a lot of energy that puts into it. It drains you. You're never in the mood. Imagine going to the gym for the 4th day in a row, but it's just that's every time you stream. And he's been doing it for 2 years.
What keeps you going?
What keeps you going is just the dream that, see, this is growing up, best friend here, and gotten super close with Chase along the way. But that's just honestly what keeps me going. Just all the dreams we've ever talked about. That's what's gotten me through all of those grueling 4 to 5, 6 hour days of streaming and selling 500 to 1,000 units. Just having that in the back of your mind. I'm not doing it because I, like selling these right here at a loss sometimes. To people who are bitching at you in the chat. So it's just the dreams that we got going.
I said this before, it took 7 years for Nike to actually become called Nike. They were Blue Ribbon Sports. I don't know if a lot of people know that. 1964 to 1971. They didn't do their first 10 million lifetime till 10 years later in 1974. We just did it in 2 years. I think Phil Knight, he's going on 90 years old. Somebody's got to come after Nike or what they've built, and maybe it's not 100 billion. Maybe, you know, Phil Knight's he's worth 40 billion. I think we're cool with 2 billion. That seems pretty okay.
It's not bad.
So if we're taking the right steps in the right direction and partnering with people who run the industry, we have a great partnership right now with SneakerCon. A lot of big time sponsors and retailers and ways to fund our vision. There's no reason why a really good product, you know, backed by a really good community, and hopefully people that want to be part of it like yourself can't go to the next level. And if the next level is Nike, I think that's where we're headed.
So we've been talking to a lot of sneaker stores, and their model is basically charging way above StockX ask and just taking advantage of the information gap. It seems like you guys are charging below retail.
Mm-hmm. Which is why you see the lowball king have to pay half the market. You'll never see us sell anything probably even 50% off retail. We're selling things 75%, 80% off retail. Literally, you can buy 5 for every 1 that you'd have to buy at a consignment store. Mitchell & Ness jerseys, $300. Take a guess what we sell them for on average. $300 jersey.
I don't even want to know. How much?
$40 to $35.
That's insane. It's like 10% basically.
Yes. So you're getting it 90% off. All day, every day.
That's insane. So they should like you guys, right? You guys are the good resellers.
You would think if you look at if you look at some comments on videos here and there, it's not always the most loved, but yeah. Actually, sometimes people even have called us scammers in the past because they can't believe of how many essentials pieces that we're selling at $32 to $38 when we sold 15,000 essentials hoodies last December.
How do you guys legit check all this stuff?
Well, I was going to say this. A lot of the product that we're getting, which Alex was speaking on, is retail from retail stores. So we have receipts of us purchasing this product, which already solidifies the authentication there. I have my eyes that I've been doing this again when it comes to like the higher end products that you saw, those Off-Whites, the Louis Vuittons, things like that. I'm authenticating them, but we also will authenticate with apps like Check. So that's one of hopefully a partner soon with us. We've been doing a lot of Check authentications and making sure that all the products that we sell are 100% authentic.
But then also any major liquidations, we need to see an invoice. So that's the last thing is like Yeezy Gap liquidation, just any brand, you name it, need to see an entire invoice of the product if it's not bought directly through the source. Kick and Disc Pro, this is going to be a shootout. Under 5K. Oh, and Mel G says, not so fucking fast. Not so fucking fast. We got a bidding war. Under 5K right now, chat. Under 5K, is Kicklahoma coming? No. Mel G, is the payment green? It's green. It's fucking green. Mel G takes home a Chicago Off-White for $4,800. The more you give back and the more you surround other people on the way up with your success and don't try to take every penny, every last penny, and think like a reseller. Like I literally tell them all the time, like, don't think like a reseller. Think of someone that's trying to build something bigger. And the more that you allow other people to come up with you, then the more the world will give back. And it's the most trusting, maybe cliche sounding thing ever, but it is literally proven true for 2.5 years now for us and hundreds of thousands of years for everyone before us and after.
A lot of times we see a lot of negative things happening in our community. And we don't ever always get to see positive things that are happening.
Look, Alex, you were mentioning putting out all the fires that comes up when doing something at this scale. Talk about some of the things that have come up in your journey, because I imagine it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
So that's the thing that I was getting into earlier about really scaling this thing. Something that you guys would never guess would be a problem. Last December, we had a Rollo printer. A lot of resellers use this, right? If you're doing high volume and it looks super cool and it comes out. We actually sold so many units of our essentials and we had so many more behind it that we were double shipping essentials to customers without knowing it until some customers were reaching out and saying, hey, did you mean to send me 2? And we were like, oh shit, how many did we send to all the people that didn't tell us? Lost about $10,000 to $15,000 till we had to then buy an upgraded like factory printer for another $5,000. So it ended up being like a 20 KL overall. And that's just one little fire. There's been thousands. I tell this to a lot of other business owners and people that are just going through issues is like there's always going to be a fire at all times. Like you can't let it drag you down. You just have to know that it's going to burn and just let it burn, and know that there's other things that are more important and you'll get back around to them. But like, don't always halt your motion, right? Because if you constantly try and fix the fires, then you're going to lose the path that you're on and what you're building. Just make sure that it doesn't get to the point where it can like totally overtake your business.
We've been robbed before. I don't know if we want to get into that as well, but for $80,000 and $80,000, they came in midnight and stole all of our product. That's when we had, you know, Jordan 1 Dior's, every Yeezy 350 you could think of, every colorway. So it was a tough hit for us for sure. And when that happened, honestly, other than feeling sad and emotional for a little bit, my thought process was, why did this happen? How can we make sure that this never happens again?
So I actually got a call from my dad on the way in, and I walked to the front of the door, and I mean, the door was just like cracked down. Definitely a surreal shock feeling. We found out a couple days later when I was working with detectives in the area that it was literally an inside job between the alarm installation crew and people that they hired just like off the streets to come in and loot the whole place. They couldn't prove them or find them or anything, and people always ask me, did you find them? But at the end of the day, it's like you come in, everything you've worked for the last year and a half is just stripped away from you. Literally, we had, I think, the Jordan 1 highs, like black and white, they just released. We had like 55 pairs of them just gone, 100 pair of Concord lows. There was a Red October here. It's crazy. People literally were coming in to put in our alarm 2 days later, and the day before, literally the day before our alarm gets put in, we get robbed in the middle of the night. So you never know who you can trust in this game, especially even the people that you think you can trust the most in the world. It was heart-wrenching. And I mean, there's a video out there that one day in the documentary will come out, you know, I was fully bald in tears, and it's just like, he was away on vacation and I had to be strong for the team. And I remember closing the door in the warehouse room with my cameraman, and, you know, I just let it out and like told the story, and then came out, shut the door, and I was strong. And I'm like, this is how we're going to fight back. This is how we're going to come back from this, and we're going to make a fool of all those people who ever tried to fuck with us.
It was rough. It definitely put us in a halt for like 3 to 4 months. We had to move locations. Basically, that $80,000 was like cost of goods to us. So it doesn't even talk about the value, right? It was probably like $140,000 worth of valued product.
And also it was like the money that we saved from quitting our jobs. So no family, no outside funding, nothing. Literally, he was making over 6 figures. I was making maybe 60, 80K, but it was like 2-3 years of saving. I think we put in like 45K each to the business. So yeah. We started with literally, I remember the number was like 47 point something K, and they robbed us 80K, 150K worth of value. And like, we went down to literally like 13K in our bank account. And we had probably 100 to 150K worth of like 2 years worth of grind and grit, and then had to start all the way back up again. But you know, like, I hope someone out there, you know, no matter how bad the issue is, just like Chase said, like there's always a way back. Don't let anybody else win the situation, because if you give them all the credit and all the power, then they've won. But like, you've already done it once, it's always going to be easier to do it a second time. I'm just thinking that it's funny, we're standing talking about this 2 years later, I'm still holding the Ninja Turtle shirt. Oh yeah, it's amazing.
So you mentioned the sneaker. Let's talk about this. What am I holding right here?
It's our baby right there.
You're holding the Culture Glider right there, Culture Glider 1s. So we have 2 SKUs that are going to be releasing this September 1st. And you might be asking, how do you get your hands on a pair, right? You just got to go to culturekicks.shop.
Oh.
So is this the end goal, is to not sell Nike, Jordan, etc., but just to sell all Culture branded products?
We already have the cash out bags, the joggers that we've sold out. We sold out like flip-flops before, but this is the main head honcho. And this is something that, again, we've been working to. By the time it lands, it'll be a year. Not something that is cheap whatsoever to design, back and forth, you know, changing the mold. It's been between like $50,000 to $100,000 all in. Especially once they land, it'll be over 6 figures. You got to put marketing into it.
So you mentioned that you guys did 5.8 mil in revenue, right? Which is more than Nike was doing at their stage. But that was 5.8 mil of selling other people's products, right? Other brands.
Right.
What makes you guys so confident that you'll be able to do the same numbers with your own stuff?
I think personally it has to do with the brand that we've created, right? The content that we're pushing out there. the amount of people that, again, have came up to me during sneaker cons, asked for a picture of me, asked me to sign something, just like wanted to interact with me, goes to show how much like brand loyalty they will have. We've sold some of our merchandise at some of these sneaker con events, and I think that those same people who enjoy my content, enjoy the entertaining things that we do on the internet, are going to also buy into the, shoes and products that we have for them, because not only do they get to support us and our brand, but they're going to be very comfortable products. They're going to be things that people are going to want to wear, right? And we're also doing a lot when it comes to marketing efforts to be able to get this out to as many faces as possible in the industry, as well as, put behind marketing ads, right? Where we know that we can find our perfect consumer at the end and put money on that. So that's kind of like what I would say we're really looking forward to, and that's how we're going to sell out these shoes.
When's the last time that you've waited 4 hours for anything? And bringing up the same story again, the other side of the world, we go to Australia, it is a 4-hour line. There's kids waiting 2.5 hours. They get to the front and they have nothing in their hands because all they want is a picture with this guy right here. They literally asked for us to sign a dollar bill and gave us 10 Aussie dollars for the dollar bill because they just wanted a US dollar bill signed by both of our names. And I tell him, like, I'm sitting there next to him, but he's so locked into the deals. It looks like people are hitting like a Harry Potter brick wall. Like they're like running into a wall when they see him and their neck turns, because they've seen the business deals done before, and high-level business execs have actually told me, they're like, as entertaining as some of this content is, like, you are teaching the next generation of entrepreneurs, like, how to do business the right way. And some of the times that he gives people an extra 20 or an extra $100, people that have been like long-term supporters, like, that is the right way to do business. Like, that gets paid back and comes around. So I think to answer your question, like, what makes us that confident? Like, it is the culture brand, it's the culture media of 200 million accounts engaged, and it's the inspiration that we give the next generation of entrepreneurs to wear something like this proudly on their foot and know that like they can go build something as well, just the way we did. 2 kids out of a basement in Philadelphia who got robbed, $80K in the middle of the night, and here we are showing you our sneaker line.
Are there any lessons that you guys can share from along the journey, the ups and downs?
We went to a semi-pro lacrosse game, brought a U-Haul van truck, and I got like burned to a crisp on my face, and I can still feel the sunburn on my cheeks today. And literally, I think we sold like 4 pairs. We got like 47 Instagram followers. I tell them all the time. Like, you cannot be above anything. Like, similar to what Chase just said, you literally have to humble yourself so much that any relationship or any potential opportunity is worth the time right now for you to put in, and it will be rewarded back to you. It will be rewarded back to you, and you have to have trust in that.